great on interview.
Sheriff Anna Franklin coming up here in just a moment. Let's quickly go over that forecast. 28 degrees out there right now. Bundle up on your way out the door, but you won't need those clothes. Well, all of those clothes much longer. 54 for the high today, full sunshine. Tomorrow your high at 69.
We're on the way to the beach.
Low of 51, and yes, full sunshine. So the rest of the weekend looking quite nice. You should see some good temperatures, maybe almost 70 degrees, 71, and possibly rain on Sunday.
All right, Gregg's up here along with Sheriff Anna Franklin. I saw you on 31 yesterday. We're going to give you a lot more time today.
We're doing the whole rodeo gamut now.
Yeah, now you doing it again next week too?
Yes.
Or are you just getting it all in this week?
We're trying to get as much this week as we can put in, and then next week it is full-blown rodeo. So everybody in Morgan County behave. We are busy next week.
All right, your rodeo is next weekend up at the Celebration Arena.
Yes.
Is this the third one you've done?
This is our third one that we've done. And it'll be the third one at Celebration Arena. And we have ordered, we want to request really great weather. But in case we don't, we're indoors.
Right.
And it's heated this year. So if we have one of those unseasonably snowstorms or, you know, any of that kind of stuff that goes on that you don't expect around Easter, we'll be prepared for it.
You know, it was 20 years ago, the 12th, that we had that foot of snow here.
That's right.
And, all right, so the rodeo comes up. Now, y'all are doing a parade this year. Did y'all do that before?
We did that last weekend. It was great. We had about 70 horse riders and some buggies.
Now, did y'all go from...
We went from the Posse Ground in Hartselle, down downtown Hartselle, all the way through that way and back up to the Posse Ground.
I read that and I said, surely the goodness, it ain't going to be no 4 or 5 hours long.
It was about 2.5 hours, yeah.
Wow.
And everything went great until the train.
Yeah, well, we know what that's like here, don't we, Greg?
We know how that goes.
The train can mess up a lot.
Till the train.
All right, hang on, Sheriff. We're going to get back to you just a second here. Greg, you're opening up, not only you got real estate, you got everything else, you own buildings all over, but now you open up a yogurt shop.
Yogurt shop on 31 next Saturday.
Saturday week.
Saturday
Grand
week.
opening.
Grand opening.
Is that the grand opening, or is that just the first day?
Well, that's just the first day. I'll have to do the grand opening through the week or something like that.
Arctic Chill frozen yogurt. Jordan's idea, your little boy at Alabama, because there wasn't a yogurt shop in. And now you know all about yogurt.
He does now.
Have you eaten any yogurt yet?
Not at my place.
They haven't.
But it is supposed to be less fattening than ice cream. Now you're going to be open 7 days a week?
7 days a week.
Wow.
You know what the hours are going to be?
No, we hadn't decided. Even 11 to 12 to 9 or 10 at night, and then a little later on the weekend. I hadn't set the hours yet.
So I'm sure we'll let it. Now you got seating inside for how many?
I can seat about 40 inside, and I don't really know how many you can seat outside. We're doing a sitting there with a wrought iron fence and all around it where you can sit outside.
Well, so it's going to be like a bar atmosphere without the alcohol.
That's true. Where you can put your kids inside of it, don't have to worry about them running out in front of a car unless they go outside the fence.
Okay, and that's all on 31.
It's nothing to it. It's next door to the ABC State Store. I mean, it's a shopping center beside it.
A lot of people don't know where that is.
Well, if you turn off 72 on 31 North, it's the first building on the left.
Athens' own
easy to find.
first and only yogurt store.
I hope it goes good. I think it will.
Now, you're still doing real estate, aren't you?
Yep. If you need anything, give me a call. Here lately.
Here lately, it's been all yogurt. Yeah. I want to ask Sheriff Franklin, you know, you came in here and there's Thursday's a boys' day, and immediately they're like, oh, can you strip search me? Hey, Sheriff, how's it going? All this stuff.
Oh, shut up, Dan.
You need to be on the couch for a month. So when idiot boys like that, you must get that a lot.
Yeah, not as much as I used to, because, you know, I'm 30 pounds and 30 years later, so it's not as much as I used to. But, yeah, you know, you hear some of that. And
your response was what? Wait a minute, your response was what? They don't find it near as fun.
Yeah, it's not near as fun as they thought it would be.
You've been in law enforcement. How you used to work for Sheriff Blake?
I did.
Tell us about your career. When did you start with it?
In '96, I started with canines and worked canine. 99, started in narcotics canines, and then went from there to working with Sheriff Blakely on handling all of his canine dogs. And then I started as undercover agent in Morgan County under Sheriff McBride, and worked for him until Sheriff Bartlett came in, and then went full-time in the narcotics division there and worked undercover for a lot of different agencies. That they kind of farmed me out. There's not a lot of females that do.
Anything scare you?
You're saying a lot of females don't do undercover work.
No, they don't. It's just the hours are excruciating, and having to travel all over the place, and it's just there's not a lot of females in that line of work.
Not to mention it's pretty dangerous.
It's fairly dangerous, yeah. It's a pretty dangerous job. And then from there, I went to investigations and led the child crimes investigations in Morgan County before I ran for sheriff. So
that had to be a tough.
That is the worst
position.
Part of the whole. There's nothing worse.
It seems to be that in Morgan County we hear more about. Maybe it's because you just.
She's busting everybody. You're going to get caught.
Carolyn Alexander.
We're wearing them out.
A friend of ours out at could take a big view of the show. Carolyn, give you a shout out when you wanted me to mention Sheriff Franklin about what an outstanding job you've done, especially in their area, which what was the naked meth burglar or whatever he was called.
It's amazing what you see when you get in law enforcement, and most of it you don't want to see, I promise. But it is, and I think part of it for our end, of course, being in narcotics and working that in first gives me a different perspective on it. But after working investigations and being in narcotics, you realize that the majority of our burglary crimes and all of our crimes other than drugs come from people that are either selling, buying, using, drugs. And so our goal was if we could put a stop to the drug use and drug abuse and drug sales and that kind of thing, then eventually it would deter. I mean, if they're in jail for meth, they're not stealing your lawnmower. That's just the way it is. So it's going to cut down on the alternate offshoot crimes that are associated with drug abuse. And I think that, we've certainly seen that the majority of our violent crimes have been associated with people that have drug or alcohol addiction problems. And it just has made, this is the first year that we've actually been able to track and see that exponentially the amount of drug arrests that we have had is correlated to the amount of reports of burglaries, home invasions, car burglaries, that kind of business burglaries has gone down. So we're very fortunate that it seems like it may be starting to take a turn.
Great. How big a problem is meth?
It's huge. It's the worst epidemic that we have seen in our area ever. I mean, you don't like to. All drugs are bad. You don't like to catalog, one is worse than any other. But I think that the health risks that are concerned, the ability to kick methamphetamine, it is, nationwide, your recovery rate is about 4%. And that's really
4%?
4%. That's incredibly low. And even after court-ordered drug treatment and that.
Now, you've had super success with your drug program, haven't you?
We have, and I think that that is definitely something that folks have got to start understanding is that if you don't have an intervention, and unfortunately sometimes the intervention is law enforcement, and if you don't have an intervention that takes long enough to take hold with a way to learn to cope with your addictive behavior, you're not going to succeed. It's not going to work. So putting folks in jail, no matter how long they're staying in jail, is not working without some help to go along with it, because there's some reason that folks initially turn to a substance thing. And we got to find
What's
the root of that.
What's the future for meth addicts then?
The first thing is that I don't understand. We did a meth bust a couple of weeks ago, and literally there was a lady there, folks in the community that everybody was just shocked at. She's 62 years old. She had retired from a good job. She had a very nice house, and they were cooking dope out in their shed out back.
She was involved in all?
She was involved in. There was meth in their house. There was parts of a meth lab inside their kitchen right above their sink. And, I sat down with her and I said, what am I doing wrong? I mean, we are wearing it out. I am on everything that we can possibly be on as far as how dangerous this is and how you cannot. What am I doing wrong? How am I not getting to 62-year-old grandmothers that do not start smoking meth? I mean, what was the first thing that made you start smoking dope? And she said, somebody brought it over. And I mean, my deal is don't ever do the first time. If we can get folks to understand that you're going to get addicted. I mean, that is the most powerful addictive drug, for people that we've interviewed, worse than heroin. Worse than heroin. And by the way, heroin's making a comeback. So yay us. I mean, it's amazing. And the cost for drug addiction, substance abuse, treatment, court, law enforcement, the cost of children in our school system and health care and that kind of thing is unbelievable what taxpayers are paying for right now. So we have got to get, you know, somehow to deter that very first thing.
What can people do if they're out there? I mean, how do you know, what are signs to look for?
You know, everybody wants to call when we've got multiple cars coming in and out. Well, that's one sign, but we've got to have a little more than just cars, and we've got to have a little more than the neighbor saying, I know they're doing drugs. They can call with that, but usually we look at all the surrounding things. If they've got children, are they well kept? How is the school system, you know, reports on there? Unusual smells that you may smell.
Is that something you can smell on their clothing?
You can smell it on their clothing. You can smell it even around the house when they're cooking and producing the methamphetamine. Burning trash at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, it can be a big giveaway.
That's a giver. We've had people that are like mowing the yard at 2 a.m. because they're all strung out. Yeah.
Mowing the yard at 2 o'clock with a stolen lawnmower.
On a stolen lawnmower. That's a good one. It's just, you know, things that are totally out of context of what normal people would do. You know, behavior problems. Their family can see a huge change in their mood and their personal appearance, their personal hygiene, failing to go to work, having unpaid bills that they normally would be able to do, and then not knowing where their money's going. All those things are warning signs. And, you know, hopefully that what happens is that family and friend intervention can kick in before we have to get involved. But if it can't, that's what we're there for.
Well, I know we can do a whole half hour on it. Probably need to. Let me change subject a little bit here. The new theater opened.
Yeah, I haven't gotten a chance to
Have you
go
seen
yet.
Indicator Daily this morning?
No.
And we made reference to you. I know it's out of, I don't know if you have jurisdiction there or not. They had to stop 2 showings this weekend of the first premiere night because unrowdy teenagers inside.
Yeah.
Fights.
Yeah.
Did you, and then throwing stuff at the screen?
Yeah.
What's wrong with the people?
You know, you hate to say it goes back to parents and a lack of authority and a lack of respect, but I'm here to tell you, the folks, it comes back to a lack of authority, a lack of respect, and a parenting issue a lot of times. And not all the time, because, you know, this society is totally different. There's a point that you get to that your parents are not in charge of you anymore. And everybody knows the kids act different when they're not around their parents. But it is just a complete failure, I think, all the way around of authority and respect in our
All right, we'll quit asking you this, what's wrong with everybody else. Let's talk about it again. Let's do the rodeo thing again. Friday and Saturday, next week. Special Needs Thursday.
Special Needs Thursday.
Now, can people buy tickets for the rodeo at places?
They can. People's Bank has got tickets, and you can also buy them at the Sheriff's Office, and there is a discount for pre-sale, so you may want to pre-sale buy, and nobody has to worry about weather again.
What's going to be different about the rodeos in the past this year?
This year, we're just hoping that it is a bigger and better show. We are.
You have a different rodeo promoter.
We are, for the first time, we're a PCA-sanctioned event, which gives us hopefully a whole different realm of cowboys coming through. So there'll be some professional cowboys that folks may not have seen, and a lot more cowboys competing. We also, this year, are going to have a trick rider, a female trick rider that's coming, and she is awesome.
That's always fun.
Got to see her a couple of weeks ago, and she did a great job. New clown skits that you may not have seen before. A lot of great stock. We went and have previewed the rodeos several different times at places to make sure that this is the type of event we want to bring, and I'm really excited about that.
And can we do a thing? You will be seeking re-election next year in Morgan County Sheriff? I
will be. And gosh, you always put everybody right out there. Yes, of course. You know, I tell everybody that this is the best job in the world, even when I want to run my head through the wall. It's the best job in the world. And anytime that we have all night and got to be there the next day, and, you know, a bunch of board meetings, and how am I going to get here? And it feels like I am 10 minutes late for 10 events. By the end of the day, I'm like missing them, you know, because we've got so many things.
You need to learn to drive like Sheriff Blakely.
Well, you know what? I'm in one of those new Ford trucks from Lynn Layton this morning, where he's letting us great sponsor for us, and you gotta watch that. I'm in one of those new
get out of her way
F-250 diesel. Oh my goodness! Like before you know it, you're just flying.
Well, I'll have to charge you for that ad you just gave me. Well, good luck, and we'll help you all weekend. We'll see you next week for the special needs thing. The rodeo coming up.
We're excited about it. We've got about 1,200 kids registered this time.
Awesome. What time is the special needs?
Starts at 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock.
Well, we'll be there. Thank you again, Sheriff Franklin.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about Matthew at Chick-fil-A's race coming up, and we'll talk about that and see what's going on. Then we'll go to Danny Johnson, Roadrunner, in his section with Sheriff Blakely and everybody down at the cook-off, wild game cook-off this past weekend. Y'all hang on.